Well, hi, you are Keith Swank in person, apparently.
Yeah, this is Keith. Richard.
Right, this is Richard Lee in Seattle.
Uh-huh.
And I am a journalist, and if you don't mind, I'm going to turn on a recording device.
Okay.
Okay, one moment. Okay, that's rolling now. And I did leave a message about 10 days ago that I'd be calling, so apparently you're anticipating this call.
Well, I am. Uh-huh.
And so on that occasion, I left a message that this was regarding March 16th, 1996.
Okay.
Is that ringing a bell with you at all?
Yes.
Right. So you know that I was assaulted and arrested on that date by you yourself.
Well, I understand you were arrested that day, yes.
Well, I was arrested by you and an Officer Lee, isn't that correct?
Yes.
And you were the one who put the handcuffs on me, is that correct?
If you say so. I don't remember. It's been 20 years or so. 30 years almost, I should say.
Right.
It's a long time, Richard.
Yeah. Well, it's vivid in my memory, and I have the police report here, so that helps. I guess you don't have the police report with you?
No, I don't.
Right. Say, I was also interested in your early career prior to that. It's a little bit hard to figure out. You've run for office total of 5 times, I think.
I think that's correct, yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time hearing it.
Hang on one second. Just close my door. Yes, I think that's correct.
Okay, you ran for sheriff and won, and you ran for U.S. Senate and lost 3 times for congressional seats.
Yes.
Okay, very good. And, well, you often have said that your career includes 33 years with the Seattle Police Department.
Yes.
Right. And also that you have a 4-year degree, a BS degree in psychology from the University of Washington.
Yes.
Right. Well, one thing I wanted to straighten out is how is it that you joined up with the police and also the University of Washington around 1990? Did you pursue a career with the police department at the very same time that you were pursuing a 4-year degree?
Well, that's a really good question, Richards, and I'm so glad that you're interested in that. So I'll tell you real quickly. I got out of the active duty Army in August of 1989, and I enrolled at the University of Washington in 1989 in the fall. And in 1990, I became unemployed for a short time period, and at that time I filled out an application with the Seattle Police Department and went through the process, and they offered me a job, and I was hired by Seattle Police Department on May 2nd, 1990. Then after I finished the academy and I finished all of my field training, I went back to school. I went back to college. So I worked a night shift for Seattle Police Department. Then I went to college during the daytime. Then ultimately I finished up my degree at the University of Washington with a Bachelor of Science in Psychology in 1995, I believe. So yeah, I went to school at the same time I was being a police officer, yes.
Well, that seems rather challenging. To get a 4-year degree at the University of Washington, they want you to commit to full-time studies. So you did full-time studies and full-time employment?
Very impressive, isn't it?
Well, is it true?
Yes, it's true. It's very impressive, isn't it? Not very many people could do that, huh?
Well, I saw in one of your interviews that you said something about showing up to work at the Seattle Police Department, and they said to you, well, Keith, you're not scheduled to work, so what are you doing here? And your answer was, well, I'm just eager to work. And they said, well, unless you're actually scheduled to be an employee and work here, you're not able to do that. We have rules about that. Do you recall that interview?
Yes, I do. That's the day I showed up on my day off, which is called a furlough day. I just came into work because I didn't know that there were overtime rules and union rules. I was brand new at that thing. I just was a guy who came out of the Army and just worked, so I just thought I'd show up for work because I had nothing else to do that night.
Yeah. Well, they must have told you there were rules at the police academy. This must have been after you graduated from the police academy, right?
Yeah, right. So it was just, it was, what it was, Richard, was an anecdotal story to talk about how much I loved the job. And I would have went into work and you didn't have to pay me. I just would have done it for free if I was allowed to. That's what the reason behind the story was.
But the story is true, right?
Yes, the story is true, but I share it because that's the reason why I went to work, because I had nothing else to do, and I loved my job, and I would have done it for free.
I see. But this didn't go on for years where you were not really an employee, but you were showing up. You were actually hired sometime around 1990 by the Seattle Police Department.
May 2nd, 1990, I was hired by the South Police Department. June 28th, 2023, I retired from the Seattle Police Department.
All right, so that would be your 33 years.
Yes.
And somehow you also graduated from the University of Washington during those early years. Was it August of 1995 that you graduated?
I'm not sure when it was, if I had to go to school the summer quarter or not. I actually thought I graduated in 1994, but then I found out that it was really 1995 because it's hard to remember all that. I had to look up my records, but I'm not exactly sure when. But what I did, Richard, was I worked night shift from 7:30 at night until 4:30 in the morning, and then I went to school at UW, and then I also went to school at Highline Community College for 2 years during the time there. So I would go to school early in the morning, and then I would do my studies, and I'd take a nap, sleep in the afternoon, and then I'd go to work, and that's what I did for several years, so I got my degree finished.
Oh, I see. So your first 2 years were actually at Highline.
Yeah, after I finished the academy, I went to Highline Community College for 2 years to get 2 years worth of education out of there, and then I went back to the University of Washington to finish up my 4-year degree, yes.
Right. And that was a BS in psychology.
Correct, yeah.
All right. Can you tell me what city Sigmund Freud practiced psychiatry in?
No,
I mean, there was one city that's synonymous with his practice more than any other. What city was that?
I don't know.
Okay. Do you know who William James is?
No,
Okay, father of American psychology. Do you know what the Milgram experiment is?
No.
Okay. Can you spell Carl Jung?
Maybe.
Could you try?
What does this have to do with your interview with me? My spelling? Where are we headed with our interview here, Richard?
Well, Sigmund.
I'm on a day to speak with you, and it seems to me like I don't know.
Well, Sigmund Freud is synonymous with one particular European city above all others, and you can't name that city. And you have a degree in psychology.
Why didn't I study Sigmund Freud? I study psychology.
Well, Freud is a part of psychology, right?
Yeah.
And Jung is a part of psychology, and the Milgram experiment. These are all very well-known components of study in psychology, right?
Yeah.
But you're unable to describe any of these things.
No, not that I'm unable to, but I'm just. Okay, if I answer these 2 questions for you, will you stop talking about all that silliness then, and so we can talk about whatever else it is you want to talk about, or do you want to talk about psychology and question my degree? You can call the University of Washington up; they can give you the information on it.
Well, have you ever filed a report or a request called a restrict request on directory information with the University of Washington?
Have I ever done what?
If you do not want your records from the University of Washington to be public, you file a request called a Restrict Records of Directory Information request. Have you ever filed such a request?
I don't know if I have, but I got a request recently from the University of Washington that somebody wants to know about when I graduated from, when I got my degree, and they said they needed me to give them permission to do that, so I gave them permission. So I don't think I filed anything. I just did an email with somebody about it. And by the way, I do know how to spell Young's name and everything too, but I don't need to go on that with you.
Right. Well, presumably you have a computer on your desk. Any luck with Sigmund Freud?
Well, yeah, I do. I think Sigmund Freud. I think a lot of this stuff has been debunked over the years. But
what city he practiced in? That's been debunked.
Right?
What's that?
Was he from Austria? Wasn't he from Austria or something like that?
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. There you go.
Okay, so your answer then is Austria or something like that.
Well, no, I'd say he's from Vienna, but yeah.
After several minutes. Any luck with the Milgram experiment? Does that come up on your computer?
No, I haven't looked up anything on my computer.
Right, sure you haven't. Okay, well, you've recently, would you go along with the characterization that you would have been fired from the Seattle Police Department had you not resigned, which is what Sue Rohr basically said?
Well, I would say that Sue Rohr politicized the whole thing because she supported my opponent, so that was supposed to be the October surprise to get my opponents to win, but it didn't work very well, and I won anyhow, so it's all political, Richard.
Right. Well, you seem to be a very political...
Hang on. And Sue Rohr completely ruined the Washington Criminal Justice Training Center Commission in Burien during her time there, and the place now is run abysmally, and whenever our deputies go there, go for the training, they actually come back in worse shape than before we sent them there, so we have to train them again to be able to do their job out here on the street. So I can talk about sport all day long if you want to.
Right. Well, so I guess they need to relearn something like de-escalation of conflict.
Yeah, they don't do a very good job teaching it there. Actually, many of my deputies have lost over 100 hours of training time because instructors never showed up. And Monica Alexander, who's in charge of the place now, signs documents, signs certificates saying that they received 720 hours of training and they haven't. So that's actually fraudulent. You really should investigate that, Richard. That would make you very famous to be able to bring that out to the public.
Well, that particular thing doesn't really interest me very much. As far as de-escalating...
Yeah, so, see, that's the reason why it doesn't interest you, because it's people who you agree with and think about and like. So that's why it doesn't interest you.
Did you say that Democrats enjoy deeply chopping up babies?
I may have. That was in response to some post on X, so you can find it there, I'm quite sure. If that's what I said, it was in jest to some comment that they made about abortion, I'm quite sure, yes.
But, that's what Alex Jones got in trouble for, saying that about Hillary Clinton, and he had to apologize.
Well...
You don't seem apologetic. Not at all.
No, not at all.
So who are these Democrats that are chopping up babies?
Well, you have to put it, Richard, you have to put it in context. So bring up, that's a response to a post on X or Twitter whenever it was done. So if you bring the whole thing up, then I can tell you about it. If you just bring out pieces of the more than 6,000 posts that I made, I won't know it unless I know the context of it.
Okay. But who are the Democrats that are chopping up babies?
I don't know. I just got finished saying to you, I can't answer that question right now because I have to see in what context I had put it out.
Well, one of the things that was in this discussion of the Rohr report is that you referred to a black teenager as a thug. Is that something that you did while in uniform?
While I was in uniform? No, I did that on a post, on an X post, yeah.
It said that you used the term thug when referring to a black teenager in one of the posts, and you would have been fired from the Seattle Police Department if you still work there. Is that correct?
That's correct what Sue Rohr said. The other part about the thug is a word, it means a criminal. It doesn't mean anything else. I use thug all the time. And so I'm not going to allow somebody on the left or Sue Rohr or anybody to tell me what language I may or may not use. I can use whatever language I want to. So I'll stand up and fight against that all the time. So I can use thug whenever I feel like it. I just called a guy a maggot the other day on X. I don't hear you questioning me about that. Oh, that guy was a white guy, so it's okay then, right? So anyhow, I call people what they are, what I think they are. I don't care about their race. So
Sure.
I know you want to make it a race thing, and so I say thug is a racist word, but that's the left changing things, just like they change pronouns and use plural pronouns for singular subjects. I'm not a part of that. Don't agree with it.
Okay. Well, in 2011, you were suspended for 10 days without pay for your role in an incident where an officer under your command threatened to, quote, beat the expletive Mexican piss out of a prone Latino man who was detained in a robbery investigation. So you just don't really care about using language like that in such an incident?
Well, Richard, I reported that violation of language from that deputy that night to his chain of command, and it went the whole way to an assistant chief, and they blew it off. And then when it got to be international news and all the notoriety that came with it, then they decided to say that I never told them that. So they lied. And then I went to, got the 10 days off, and then I went to an appellate board about it, which you failed to put in here, and you make that comment, and they ruled that I did not do anything wrong except I failed to notify internal investigations, which IIS, which I didn't need to do anyhow, but that was what they call in arbitration of splitting the baby, so that they don't just say I'm completely innocent. That way they wouldn't be able to get an arbitration job anymore. So I ended up with 3 days off. They had to pay me back the 7 days that it took off, and I stand by it to this day. That,
were you in command? This officer under his command.
So there you go. They all lied about it.
Okay. Was the officer who made those comments, was he under your command?
No, he was not under my command.
Okay. Well, that's what the Seattle Times has reported.
Of course, because they lie about everything. He was a gang detective. I was the acting lieutenant of patrol that night in the West Precinct. So he wasn't under my command, but if you see the video, you'll see how after he made those comments, I walked up to him and removed him from the scene because of his conduct. I did everything that we taught people to do about to de-escalate situations. I did it correctly and reported him, and so the rest of the story from them saying anything different is a lie.
Okay. Well, apparently it's true that this cost the city $150,000. There was a lawsuit and there was a settlement for $150,000. Is that correct?
I don't know about the settlement. I don't agree with it, but oftentimes jurisdictions will settle stuff just to save money. But lastly, that guy, that suspect that he called a bad name to, had he not called him a bad name, he would have been convicted of robbery because he really did commit the robbery. So because this deputy and this detective used the word Mexican, this guy got out of robbing innocent people, and he made money on it. So I guess crime pays if you're the right persuasion.
Well, that is a bizarre thing to say. Did you actually run for sheriff because God commanded you to in your hot tub?
Yes, pretty amazing story, huh? Because I won. That's a pretty cool God story, isn't it, Richard?
Well, generally people who report being addressed directly and audibly by God are considered delusional and perhaps insane. That's not the case with you?
That's what people who are non-Christians or have no religious faith would tell you. But, how about people who say that they are a girl whenever they're biologically a boy? Are they insane? How about people who say that I'm a furry, I'm an animal? Are they insane? We say those are normal, but now God spoke to me, so that's insane? I don't think so, Richard.
Well, apparently you have a 4-year degree from a leading university in psychology. It doesn't bother you that voices are speaking to you and guiding your political career?
No, it doesn't bother me at all.
Okay. So it actually happened. You actually heard the voice of God tell you to run for Pierce County Sheriff.
Well, I won't really say that he spoke and I heard him, but inside my brain, I heard him say, "You've not been paying attention, you're to run for sheriff." Yeah, correct. But I didn't hear some loud, thunderous noise that came from outside. It was all an internal thing. Yes.
Oh, so you did hear it or you didn't hear it?
I did hear a voice.
Okay. Doesn't hearing voices indicate that you're a delusional person who, how do you know it wasn't the voice of, Orson Welles or Johnny Carson or something? Why do you assume it was God telling you to run for sheriff?
Well, if you're in touch and in tune with God, then you'll know whenever He's speaking to you, and then you'll know whenever it's something else or the devil or anybody else or Johnny Carson or Orson Welles speaking to you. You'll know that by being in tune and in touch with God. So that's how I know.
Right. And so just one last thing. It was audible or it was non-audible?
It's hard to explain to you, Richard, since you're not a believer, but I heard him tell me that. So I don't really, it's audible in my brain, but if you were sitting beside me, you wouldn't have heard it.
I see. I see. And, on the subject of training for police officers, which you're keen to talk about, you've promoted yourself by saying that you have been a leader in de-escalation training, and I'm thinking that that is accurate. You do promote yourself that way, right?
Yes. De-escalation and crisis intervention training. I helped develop that Police Department, which made it a model for the United States, and I taught it for the Department of Justice under the Obama administration. Yes.
Well, that's pretty amazing to me because, I remember on March 16th, 1996, that you had a definite proclivity against de-escalation when you arrested me. You seem to want to escalate that situation into the most violent type of confrontation that could possibly occur.
Well, I understand your position, and also de-escalation training is an ongoing deal, and so I completed and continued training. We didn't have a de-escalation actual training then in 1996. I forget what we called it. We called it verbal judo, I think, so training we had. But anyhow, we had de-escalation training is progressive, and we continue to evaluate it and make it better. So if you believe I did de-escalate things in 1996, I became better at de-escalating things as time went on, as most people do when they learn skills.
Right. Well, the complaint against you by me was sustained. We went through a hearing, and you probably went through a hearing before I got the determination of sustained. But my complaint against you for making this an extremely violent situation, that was sustained. I've got the document right in front of me. So how is it that you became some sort of leader in de-escalation of violence when it was completely obvious that you had a strong proclivity toward violence?
Well, that's a loaded question, but how I became an expert was going through training and setting up training and using training to figure out what's best during the consent decree, and we just worked on it and tried to develop it and then learn new skills. A lot of it had to do with mental health issues and...
Okay, were you suffering from a mental health issue when you grabbed me by the back of the head and slammed me to the ground? Was that a mental health issue for you?
Well, I don't recall it the same way you do, Richard. I see it differently than you, so let's move on to the next topic. And I'm going to give you 5 more minutes, okay, because I have to go on to my next meeting, which started at noon, and I'm also actually late for it, but I'll stay with you for 5 more minutes, okay?
Well, this topic interests me greatly because as I'm writing up my report, it's going to be headlined, "I was the victim of an attempted murder by Pierce County Sheriff Keith Swank in 1996.
That sounds like a great headline. That should get you a lot of clicks on it. Maybe you should say, I don't know if you could get anything that's a little bit more exciting than that. But maybe you could just add into it something, I don't know what else. But yeah, I'm sure you'll think of it. It'll be good. It sounds like a great headline there, Richard.
No, you should add to it. You always have something outrageous to say, so why don't you react to that? I will say that as a matter of fact, you attempted to murder me on March 16th, 1996.
I think that sounds great. That's a good headline for you.
Okay. Is it true?
No.
Okay, you grabbed the hair at the back of my head and you tried to snap my head to the side violently 3 times. I had abrasions on my face from having my face rubbed against the sidewalk.
Well, Richard, I don't remember all those details as well as you remember them. I don't remember the same way. So, but you know, we're all going to have different perspectives of things.
Yeah. How is it that you were supposedly blinded by the flash of a very small camera over your right shoulder? The photos clearly show you were not looking at the camera. How are you blinded by a flash from a camera that was over your shoulder?
Richard, you flashed the camera in my face, not over my shoulder.
Okay. Well, there are 2 photos and only 2 photos from that incident. I'm looking right at the negative of the photos, and both of them were over your shoulder. So apparently you're lying.
Well, I'm sure you can flash cameras without taking a picture, can't you?
No.
We got all the pictures there. Hey, come on, Richard. There's lots of things you can do. But anyhow, let's talk about some other topic, or I'm going to end the conversation now.
Well, I said to you, I am a professional journalist. I have a right to take a picture. And your response was, if you're with the Seattle Times or the Seattle PI, you're a journalist, but you're not, you're nobody. That's what you said on March 16th, 1996. And now you're this great advocate for the First Amendment who gets to say whatever he wants on X or Twitter.
Yeah, as you can too. What makes a person a journalist? Just saying so? I guess so, huh?
A lifetime of practicing journalism.
A what?
An entire lifetime of practicing journalism. I'm now in my...
That just makes you a journalist then, right? You don't have to be employed or anything. You just say you're a journalist. That's all that matters, right?
You don't need to be employed to be a lawyer. Lots of different jobs don't involve a W-4 form.
No, I got you. So that means anybody can be a journalist. You just have to say they're a journalist. Is that correct?
If they're practicing journalism in the best tradition, yes.
Okay.
So, but on that occasion, you apparently felt that there was a big division, and apparently you feel that way now, that there's a big division between the people in the Seattle Times and the people who are practicing journalism independently. People who are practicing journalism independently should have their face slammed into the sidewalk after having their head snapped 3 times. Why were you on patrol in that area, in the Queen Anne area, with Officer Lee on that occasion? I remember from the hearing that I was told that that's not your normal patrol area. Were you stalking me? Were you stalking me in an attempt to murder me?
Oh, Richard, that's a really that will be really good on your story. I think I told you this before, and I told the investigators of it. I'll tell you again. I was working off duty at the Seattle Center, and I was on my lunch break. That's why I was in that store.
So you were off duty at the time that you attacked me.
It's called, Richard, I know you want to try to run with it, make it look like I was on duty. When you're not working your normal patrol shift and you're working for as security for an entity like the Seattle Center, we call it off duty because the city doesn't pay you for it. The entity pays you for it, so it's not on duty, meaning you're not on the clock for the city of Seattle. It's just semantics, Richard. But
So you were off duty.
as security at a gem show, I believe. So I was security there, a cop that was hired by the Seattle Center.
Did you learn this technique of snapping a person's head to the side repeatedly in the police academy?
Yes, I did.
And why did you do this to me on March 16th, 1996?
Well, Richard, I don't remember doing it to you, but if we did learn a two-hand hair hold takedown in the academy when I went there. Anyhow, it's been a pleasure talking.
But that can render a person unconscious, can't it?
No, not typically. No.
It's called a traumatic brain injury. It can render a person unconscious.
Yeah, I don't think so. But anyhow, it's been a pleasure talking to you and reconnecting after so many
Okay,
years.
brain stem disruption. This movement puts significant pressure and strain on the delicate brain stem.
Okay. I've been on the phone with you for 31 minutes, so it's
Okay.
taking a lot of time more than I normally give people. So please have a great day. I look forward to seeing your story. You can send it to me if you want to, so I can read it. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day, Richard. Bye-bye.